See if it's there.
Are you done?
See if it shuts off.
I'm gonna start now.
There we go.
Good.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month? Is there any questions or corrections on them? If not, I will take a motion for the secretary to file it. Motion by Greg, second by Mark. All in favor? Opposed? All right. All right, public comment.
Hello, Kayla Royce, 109 Main. I wanted to let you guys know we had our Spring Grove recreational meeting. Was it almost two Thursdays ago? And I wanted to let you know some of the things that we touched on since it was the first meeting. We touched on the event that Katie was speaking that she would have. They're aiming for beginning of September right now, for a movie night. They have to connect with the fire hall to get that figured out, but right now they're rough drafting Willy Wonka themed. So getting the movie, some candy, setting up all the establishments. They just have to connect with the fire hall. So she's gonna work on building those relationships. If the fire hall wants to, had an in, but if the fire hall wants to speak to me, so I can connect you with Kate, that would be great too. We're gonna have a public meeting as a council, the 27th of August. We're gonna have it at the pavilion at the rail trail entrance. That's for the public to come meet the council for the Spring Grove Recreational Committee. Any questions anyone may have, it's really just to get to know you, get to see what the committee does, any concerns that you may have. So open to the public, open to council. I know Bill and I will be there. We kind of had to schedule it to where we both would be in town, because I think ours hopefully
Do you have a time for that?
our time is, it starts, I believe, at 5, what was it, 5 or 5:30? I think it's 6. No, 5:30. 5:30. I put 5 because it takes me 30 minutes to get over there. 5:30. So, yes. And then that lasts for about an hour, hour and a half. But open to the public. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, question while you're here. Are you planning on coming to most of these meetings? That if we
Yeah.
will put you like maybe before public comment to go over a report of your meeting?
For sure,
Would that be okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Yep. All right.
All right.
Okay.
And just to add to that, Bill attended the rail trail ribbon cutting from Spring Grove into York, and he talked to Katie King there.
Mhm.
She was in contact with Mike Phobes
Okay.
about the playground,
Playground.
and everything that he has is in Kate's possession now, and she's going to start filing for grants.
Good. Yeah.
Is
okay.
is where it's
Awesome.
at right now.
Awesome, because I know she has a lot of connections, so that's great. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment?
Hi, Jessica Vallis, 22 Cherry Street. I brought this up at a couple of meetings down in a row, and I just want to address the bus stop right across from the antique shop. In addition to just cars flying up and down that road, there's a van that now stops. It used to go down Cherry Street to pick up some kids. Now it picks up on Church Street. And we just watch as the cars go around the van. We watch as vans go around the van to pick up. They don't have any flashing lights or anything. So that is the main point where everybody's getting on and off the bus. Plus, I think our town needs a crosswalk to safely get you across to like the main area. But anyways, I know it's a state road. It's probably through PennDOT, but just to hear you guys acknowledge, and maybe we can get something, even if it's just signs or something. We've only got like 20 days of school left, but actually less, I think, but probably gonna start recording videos, make a montage of.
Do they, the people in the van that drive them, do they motion the people to
They
go
don't have
around?
signs.
No, no, they don't, but do they motion the people?
No.
Okay, because the reason I ask is there's a van that my grandkids get picked on the bus, the regular school bus and on the road. We have a van that goes on Tunnel Hill and picks kids up. And if I'm behind that van, I will wait and they will put their window down and wave me around them.
Yeah, I think they're not.
And that's why I
I don't
ask.
think they're supposed to
That's
do
why I ask
that,
if they.
but, yeah, just, we've got different age groups
Yeah.
from, as, we've got babies waiting at the bus
Yeah,
stop for their
yeah.
siblings, all the way up to like high school. So it's a big age range. So, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Just was wondering, so everything with, I brought the stuff to the
Yeah,
playground.
come on up. Yep.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, just give you a review what I went and talked to, Mr. Probst, apparently probably have more by now. So on August 18th, or April 18th, I sat down with Mr. Probst and Mr. Fisher from the York County Parks and Recreation Director's Office. We picked which playground I believe was most feasible. He went over my estimated cost list and, was able to adjust the pricing down to really affordable pricing. He even thinks we can get the equipment and shipping costs at $50,000, which was extremely lower than what we had projected. He also promised as soon as we can get funding that the York County Parks will handle all the maintenance on the playground. After funding is secured, he'll give us a letter stating that. And pretty much confirmed a tighter budget goal of just $100,000 to apply for grants. I had reached out to Senator Kristen's office and requesting, help and guidance on where to look, as well as some of the things, asking her about some of the things that Mr. Fogue had said about with the Marcellus Shale grant and open space funding. So her office was gracious enough to come up with a whole list of links where to apply for grants. However, that would get down to my purview. Was getting ready to ask if the borough could start handling applying for grants. And I was told if I wanted to do fundraising and stuff like that, you guys would have to hold the account for the the project. So I don't mind going door to door, making phone calls, to some of the businesses in town and asking around if they want to donate. Todd said something like getting commitment letters from people. So if you guys still willing, want me to, I can do that, or whatever your guys' advice is. But this is the best I know as of right now. And if you have any other information, I'd love to hear it because I didn't realize anything else was going on.
Brandon, what type of a fence are you planning to put around it, or haven't we even got to that point yet?
Wasn't no offense. He said
Okay.
there was a few things, and not to be rude, but about ADA. He said if we go through like the Marcellus Shale grant or go through other grants, they're not so picky with ADA regulations where we have to have everything set up perfect, exact. If you go through the DNCR, they're extremely picky. They're going to come in. We might have to redo that ramp that's coming down off the parking lot, which will project the cost through the roof. So his advice was to maybe look at some of these other grants and whatnot, so we didn't have to go through all that cost and stuff. And he was pretty certain that Marcellus Shale grant was a really good one to go for. And so there was no boundaries, just a mulch
Okay.
line.
The only reason I brought that up is years ago when York Township did theirs, they did a buy a slat campaign for the fence where you could have your name on it as a fundraiser.
I think Borough Township might have done that with theirs too.
York Township did it. That's
Okay.
what year, this was years long ago. I don't know if they've done it since, but if you would have gone to their, the wooden rails had people's names on it.
Yeah,
Just thinking of that as a possible fundraiser for you.
I thought that'd be.
That or the build a brick if you have any kind of brick walkway going into it. But again, I'm not sure what you're doing. So just some things I've had come up in the past.
So any advice is appreciated.
Okay.
Got to the point where I have links. I'm kind of stuck because I can't really, even though they said I could do the application and have you guys sign for it. I looked into it. It's out of my purview. I realized that. I wanted to hand it back over to you for the financing part of things. If you could help me apply for grants, or whatever's going on with Spring Grove.
So Kayla, when's your next meeting with Spring Grove?
It's gonna be at the end of the month. So it's the 28th.
Is there any way to reach out to Kate and see
Yeah, I
what,
can.
what she would need from the borough, maybe leading up to that meeting?
Yeah.
That way we could
Yep.
possibly
I can email
be
her.
ready for it.
I'll work it up.
I appreciate you guys' help with this.
Part of the reason you want to do that, if you can, through Spring Grove, is typically any project at all nowadays for grants stands a much greater chance of getting a grant if it is seen as a multi-municipal project. So if it goes through their area rec board, even though this thing is going to be located in Seven Valleys, obviously it's going to be open to the public for anybody who wants to come to it. If you can put it through that way, you got a better shot at getting grant funding. If it's more than one municipality, it's going to benefit from it.
It'd be great. Like I said, I just appreciate the fact that this is going forward and there will be a playground eventually here. So thank you for your time.
Kayla, can you copy the borough on that, just so if I get any requests or calls, I might know what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other public comment? All right, engineers report?
Okay. As you know, we are doing, we have funding, block grant funding for Park Street down to Mason Avenue. With the recent addition, we have 175,000, which will cover that. We did apply for block grant funding in the 24, 25, 26 program year for the section on Church Street, which would be the south side between Main Street and Mason Avenue. The proposed draft for that 3-year project plan of the block grant is out, and the borough is on, Church Street project is on for 24 for the entire $130,000. So where that leaves us is till the county block grant gets all their contracts out, we sign them and everything, it's going to be pushing to get us into this 24 construction period. So question that was raised then by the engineer, James R. Holly, is the funding for the stormwater inlets and everything, that's good through December of 26. So we don't have any issues there. The other block grant that we have now is good through next year. They're suggesting that we postpone and not try to get anything contracted out this year because they're afraid it's going to run into the winter season. And then what they would do is they would probably put out for bid, January or February, so it's ready to go first thing in the spring of next year. So, and how you guys feel about that, or
Is that a good timeline to put prices out in January and somebody will be ready to go with supplies and material in the spring?
yes,
Or is that-
I think it is. We usually always try to get our stuff out early because they're looking to fill up their schedule. So
Thoughts from council?
I know we're really anxious to get that project done, but I think it'll also be better pricing instead of having potentially 2 different contractors for 2 different blocks. And, you get your mobilization costs and everything in there. I think if you do it as one large project, we're going to get better pricing there as well.
I agree.
So then you do
My
January.
experience,
Yeah.
Is when the engineer would put the,
Yeah, they, probably be January, February, and then they'd have a bid opening in March or April. And
Sounds good.
yeah. Everyone good with that?
With that thought, if we do that, we just want to postpone the painting too. The curb painting.
Well, we could do everything except for that side if you want.
Well, wouldn't they put it back to the way so if we paint it, wouldn't they repaint it then?
That is a good question. It's
It's
been a long time since I've been involved in the curb and sidewalk project. I don't recall that they did that, but
I think a utility would if a utility was removing it, but being we're having
And I-
the work done, we would
the thing is, we could put it in the contract specifications.
Yeah, well, that's why I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, but I mean, guess you
Yeah. So, everyone good with that? Okay. That's all then.
Okay. Anything else from the engineer? Solicitor's report.
Okay, nothing new on the sewer mediation. Sewer reservations, everybody got copies of the documents that I received from the authority's attorney. They are terminating their reservation program, and they're basically looking at everyone who has a sewer EDU reservation that has not used it is either going to have to pay for it or give it up on July 31st. That is their proposal, and they sent it to us primarily as a courtesy to see if anybody has any questions. Quite honestly, my understanding is what your sewer system went in 97-ish, 99. So that's 25 years is a long time to be holding a reservation for unused capacity. I think we did, 5 years in New Salem? You had to use it or lose it, Cheryl, when we did it up there?
Something like that. Do we know how many are reserved? Like I know, because we've only ever had 5 or 6 that we could give out to people. How many would this increase what we have to give to people? If we want?
Well, the question is going to be, because originally it was supposed to be 10 years with 1 5-year renewal, and now it's obviously beyond that, and it's just simply saying that it'll go away. I would assume neither the resolution nor the letter say, but I'm sure if we paid for that capacity and it's not being used, it will come back to us. And according to everything we read here, we have 6 EDUs available now. I honestly don't remember how many in Seven Valleys were reserved and not used.
I guess the question I would have is if there are Seven Valleys Borough EDUs that are reserved but are not being used, and then we have 6 that are available, for any future development. My first question is, how does that affect the sewer authority? What's the benefit of them telling our property owners that you can't have your EDUs in reserve?
I don't necessarily think that it would be a major issue for Seven Valleys, but I know Loganville, they got a waiting list.
Okay.
And this is part of the problem. Also, if you've read the sewer reports, you know that they've got problems with capacity and people in the town that are over capacity. I think this is more a Loganville, Springfield Township issue to get additional EDUs freed up than what it is for us. But again, that's merely an educated guess based on what I'm seeing going on there.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question, Mike. What if you have them, like, there's one that I know, I don't know if it's, because the lady has passed away, but that was reserved for her. And now she passed away, so I don't know what happens with that. But what if somebody buys that lot and they do away with this and then they decide they want to build a house? Are they allowed to get an EUD to put the sewer in? How's that work?
Okay. That's a multifaceted answer for what you think is a simple question, but here's the deal. Number one, if the person who reserved it and was paying reservation fees died,
Right.
that does what we call run with the land. So in other words, her estate would continue to pay it. Hopefully that got passed on if somebody bought the lot.
Right.
Now, let's say that it was eliminated because they decided not to pay it. Then you're going back on the fact that you're going to end up having to buy and use one of those 6 that we are saying we have available, as long as they're available.
Right.
Because without it, you have no guarantee.
Yeah, that's what I meant,
Okay.
because if I remember right, I think they sold the lot.
Well, then I would,
And like I said, I don't know what's happening with it now, but I just was wondering if that person would buy it and then they do away with this, how they gonna put a house on there then if they want a house on there?
well, when you sell an undeveloped lot,
Yeah.
on your seller disclosure form, there's what's called a sewage facilities disclosure.
Okay.
That should say on it, public sewers available, but you got to continue to pay a reservation
Okay.
fee if there is one, or you're buying this lot at your own risk unless you
Okay,
contact
that's
the
what I wanted to
municipality.
know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Does anybody know of anything coming up that's in any kind of planning that would need an EDU?
The only thing I know had some very limited discussion with the gentleman that bought the farm back on Maple Street, Preston Steins, or who owned that last? Pete Burns.
Jeff Schaefer.
Yes,
But
yeah,
aren't they, isn't he far enough from the lateral?
he is.
Where you
Um,
don't
From the main.
necessarily have to, or I'm sorry, yeah, the main where you wouldn't have to
Well,
hook up.
our ordinance, I think, says 1,000 feet.
Yeah, but I thought the main stopped right at like the, where it narrows down on Maple Street.
Yeah, and it's about 800 feet.
Okay.
But he also talked about possibly subdividing a couple
Yeah.
housing lots,
Yeah.
but
I guess.
I haven't heard anything for a while, so I don't know. That's the only thing I'm aware of.
Yeah, and like I say, again, reading through their minutes, I think this is primarily geared toward the customers in Loganville and possibly the township.
And it was my understanding with that too, if you're on a reserve, you either give it up or you pay the full rate to keep it,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, and again, what they're saying is we allowed this for 15
Yeah.
years and kind of left it go beyond 15 years, and now it's kind of ended. So if somebody wants to keep it but not build, they've got to start paying the minimum fee. I mean, I have no need, I don't think we have any need to comment on it because
Unless you want to ask if we definitely get the EDUs back from the reserved residents of Seven Valleys.
yeah, I mean,
If it goes back in our pocket.
I can ask them if we don't know how many customers we have that are reserved and if they go back into availability for us. That's, all right, I'll do that. All right, thanks.
I have a state police report
Okay.
that I can give while you're finishing that up. For January 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2024, there were 4 crashes in the borough. 1 in January, 3 in February, 3 were non-reportable, and 1 was private property. 3 citations and 3 warnings were issued. 2 were limitations on backing, and 1 was obedience to traffic control devices. And for the crime report, you had no crime at all. So, awesome job. I
Okay.
think that's it for us, unless anybody has any questions.
I have a question. So, and I'm just gonna do it under here because I don't know where to do it under. When somebody submits a right to know, Seven Valleys Borough, everything right now is directed to Todd.
He is the right to know officer, correct?
So, no matter, my first question is, no matter how much time or cost the borough would have into that, there's no way to bill the person for that right to know?
My understanding is we can bill for copies and that's it. We cannot bill for time.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it frowned upon to have that in some sort of report?
You're asking the right to know officer to give a report as to how many requests there are, how much time was spent.
On each one? Yeah.
Nothing wrong with doing that if council wants them to do it. I would just make a motion so it's in the minutes that that council is directing the right to know officer to present a monthly report.
I do at my other place of employment, a monthly report.
I was gonna say, isn't there something that's being considered in the legislature about too many right-to-know requests, like I'm gonna say frivolous, but that's not the word that they're
Right.
using.
An overburden, overabundance amount of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
no,
something that's going on in the House of Representatives. I don't know exactly what it is.
there have always been a series of different type of amendments to that everything since it's been passed. Now, remember, we do have the ability you're supposed to respond to a right to know request within 5 days. You do have the ability to say we're going to extend the deadline to 30 days because of lack of people to be able to do that, which is something that can be done, particularly in our situation where Todd's a part-time person. But that's about the best we can do
And
right
it's
now.
5 business days.
Yes.
It's-
And 5 business days from the time it's delivered to the right to know officer. So if you put it on Jeff's door or Doug's door, it doesn't count. It has to go to the right to know officer.
One thing, sure, I think you might be talking about, I know they're particularly looking at trying to limit right to know requests for businesses, because a lot of them are using it as leads for their business. Not that they really want to know what's going on in the community, but they want permit information and all that, because they then go out and knock on these people's doors and say, hey, Can I do your concrete work? Can I do your siding work or whatever? They're the things that I know that's one of them they were trying to look at limiting. So,
I'll find out more at the conference.
All right, anything else for the solicitor? All right, zoning and codes.
Everyone has a copy of the report. If you have any questions, let me know. The only thing I'll add that is new or different from when I put the report together, the last one down there for 24 Cherry Street, that individual has paid the $40, reimbursed the township for the $40 cost to clear the sidewalks plus the $7.84 of court costs. So that will be withdrawn from district court.
So that one's completely clear now.
Yes.
Good. Any questions on the zoning and codes report? Okay. You good?
Yep.
Albert?
Nothing this time.
Scott?
Nothing.
Anything from the fiber guys?
No, it's insane. I even tried calling the York County Economic Alliance because we met with Silas.
Yep.
I'm not even getting return calls from him, so I don't know what's going on. I
When
tried
we
the
met with
county
them, that was gonna
commissioners.
be like so fast.
Yeah,
They
it
were-
was
they
gonna
were
be-
done. They were done before.
It's
while
going to
we
be
were
up and
talking about it.
operational before the end of last year, and
Agreed.
now you can't find out where it even stands. So,
You could call Isaac, he's on Dillsburg Council, he's the one that put this, one of the men who put this in, and he knows a whole lot about that.
okay.
Because he was talking about it a couple of months ago about what was going on, and I just only half listened because.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You can look, he's on Dillsburg Council, I think his name is Isaac Tucker. He'd be happy to help you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping that each month I think I'm going to have something new to report, and I'm just not hearing back. So,
All right, Daily House bill.
the other thing is just informational, just as a follow-up to last month. We talked about this House bill and a Senate bill, which involves workers' comp for volunteer fire and emergency services. And it has to do with traumatic stress incidents and workers' comp. The issue that the State Boroughs Association and the Township Association has an issue with it is, at least the initial draft, you don't need any doctor's report. There was no time limitations, how far you could go back, kind of just an open-ended. You could just go into the borough or township office and say, hey, I'm dealing with this stress, and then you get workers' comp for it. So I did do a little research. I called up to Seth Grove's office. The Senate, they had it before them. It first went to Labor and Industry in the Senate in February of 23. And they laid it on the table 1, 2, 3 times, and they finally removed it from the table just on April 8th. So it doesn't sound like it's going too far in the Senate. And then the House, they went to Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness in August of 23. It was, they had their first consideration laid on the table, removed from the table, and then it was forwarded, recommitted to appropriations the end of April. So it doesn't look like it's going anywhere too fast, but
That was on the news tonight.
yeah. Yeah, I heard a little bit. I just caught the tail end of
They
it.
said they want to try to make it, you can only go back 5 years.
Yeah,
At least that's what I heard.
But I know some of the other issues were that you didn't even need any medical.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so.
They said all of their time.
So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that to see what's going on.
Okay. Any other unfinished business? Were we waiting on another bid for Oak Street?
Yeah, that's the next thing. Yes.
Is that new? Okay, we'll go to new
Yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah.
Before we talk about-
Sorry,
All
it
right.
should have been old. You're right. Yeah, so Oak Street, I did today receive a second bid. I put out requests to 3 contractors as we're required to do for anything under 23.
23.2, I think.
23.2. We did get a proposal back from H&H Contractors, and we got one back from Yo Paving out of Spring Grove. The other one was Emery Peters. We did not hear anything back from them. So we're required under the law, we have to make 3 telephone or written requests. And if you don't get a response from one, that still counts as one. So we did get 2, so council can decide if they want to move forward. The bid from H&H, which you have a copy of, is $18,314. And then Yo Paving is $21,300. And if you recall, H&H, the one that did East Street for us last year. They both of them do good work. They're both good contractors. So if you're good with that lowest bidder, H&H, we'll just need a motion to authorize that work to be done and award that contract.
I'll make a motion to authorize the acceptance of the exchange contract for the paving of Cook Street at $18,314.
Motion by Greg, second by Deb. All in favor?
Before you vote, I want to make just one comment, and I did see it on the other one, looking over Todd's shoulder. Note on note 2 of this that they are basing that price on the current state asphalt index. And if that changes, your price may change. It is the same in both, so you're still going with the lowest responsible bid. But I just want to make sure before you approve it, everybody sees that and that this price may change based on the cost of asphalt. Sooner the better, probably, to get it done.
Yeah, last year they were pretty quick to get it turned around, so.
What happens if that goes over the 20?
We got the bid, we're okay. Because we acted in good faith, the bid came in under 23.2, so we could still act on it.
Still good with your motion?
Yes.
Good with your second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Curb parking, roadway.
Yeah, I know we're looking at just yellow curbing this year. Did get a hold of Dwayne Hilton.
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah.
He actually called me too.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah. So Gemmel's price was $5,523. Now keep in mind they based their price off of what they measured last time of 4,300 lineal feet. And Hilton is indicating that it's 6,010 feet. But nonetheless, the lowest price is Hilton at $5,308, which is the same price as what he did it back in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
And he questioned about the wall up here too at the underpass.
Yeah, we
Was included in both of
Mhm.
them. Okay.
Yeah.
Were we waiting on Bill to contact somebody? 'Cause I know there was somebody that he said.
Well, he had-
School, but I know it was kind of an.
he had suggested that if we couldn't get a hold of this other guy that there was someone that kind of travels up and down the East Coast through H&H, but it's kind of nothing real. Yeah. So.
I wouldn't
12 and 23 phone bids.
Yeah, that's,
Above
yeah,
23,
you should check into that.
Informal bid.
Don't
Yeah.
do the
And then you
grades.
get into that prevailing.
Okay. Because he had that figured in.
Well, and like we talked a minutes ago, the Church Street curb replacement, are we gonna pay him to do that? And then,
Have to do that at a later date.
or just put that in the bid
Mhm.
for when we do the. curb.
No, that's not lining the road. This is strictly curb.
I know the last time he did that. I mean, it was the same paint he used that, so it's faded out too.
Yeah, that gets a lot of use too.
Well-
Yeah, he definitely should look into maybe trying different paint. I'm sure that's probably what he uses on everything though, but yeah, it did not go well, really well. Yeah, faded pretty quick.
Okay. And no inlets and no south side of Church Street between Main and Park. I mean, it's going to be ripped out in a year or less than a year. So
That would make sense for him to do it. And he did the fire hydrants too last time, didn't he?
well, they're York Waters.
Did he
So
paint them last time? I was thinking maybe he did. He didn't touch that. I think that was real close. They did good. he was painting some other stuff that he thought he was doing. He was doing us a
It was
favor.
pretty bright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's-
I'll make sure he doesn't do the hydrants because they're not ours.
Yeah. Yeah, the parking spaces held up real well that he did, so whatever paint he used on them. Even though it's white, they did held up real well.
How are these parking spaces lines out here in our building, since he's in the area? I don't know, we can look over it out.
I can have those done much, much cheaper than through him.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wait till we have the building.
Yeah.
And then make sure they're 10 by 20.
can you do the other things cheaper?
No.
It's worth asking.
No. Don't have quite the equipment for that, but,
So thoughts on the prices of the curbs?
We wanna wait with those changes and see if the price changes with those questions that we have outstanding, and I mean, if we're adding Maple Street into it. Like I said, I don't know, what's that gonna change?
do you want to add the double line painting on Maple?
I mean, it's the same paint as
Oh,
used in the
single,
curb,
Single
but it's the same paint he used in the
Yeah.
curb, so it is faded.
I mean, I don't see the urgency, so if with these changes that you're looking at, I suggest we wait till next month.
Get an ad in, make
Yep.
sure you're under the 12.2,
Yep.
which you certainly should be, but
Yeah.
just to make sure you're
Yeah.
within compliance.
And do we need to reach out with those changes to Gemmel to get a different price from them?
Yeah, I
also?
think we should.
Yeah,
Yep.
both of them.
Yep.
And then you question the paint to a different paint, that may change the pricing.
And perhaps they ought to both verify that they've got the right amount of lineal footage too.
Yeah, yep, I know. Yeah.
That's why Campbell's and Hilton are using the same paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they can put specific.
So we'll put that on the finish.
Yeah.
That held up really well.
Yeah, true.
All right,
Look, it is.
there you go. You already put it there. All right, and then Comcast.
Well, yeah, we renewed our franchise the last time in 2011. I don't remember if it was for 15 years or 20 years or how long, but we got the letter from them asking to start communicating over the renewal. So with council's permission, I'll pull the file and we'll move forward with discussing with the gentleman from Comcast getting things moving. All right, we shall do it. I hear no problem.
Need anything from us on it?
No, not right now. We'll wait till we get a game plan.
Any other new business? Okay, treasurer's report. Everybody has a copy of it? Anybody have any questions of it? Any comments from the treasurer on it?
I have none, no.
If not, I will take a motion for the treasurer for us to approve, accept, and the treasurer to file statement for audit and to pay any regular bills that come through in the next month.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Greg, second by Deb. All in favor? Opposed? Yeah. Secretary's report.
Everything I have is quick. WellSpan EMS month of March, they had 12 calls in the borough. The others were like 7 and 9. And the only other thing is I just provided you with a copy of this CPACE. Looks like the County Board of Commissioners the act allows, it's a state law, commercial property assessed clean energy financing. So basically, they're going to be establishing a program to facilitate financing of clean energy and energy efficiency projects for commercial properties. And it's just, they're just announcing that program's available. So that is all that one other thing, just real quick. I was contacted by one person that asked me to check their sump pump, and their sump pump was tied in. So I'm sure there's many more out there. But, I had the newsletter about contacting us. I don't know if anyone's contacted the authority, but So,
That was good.
yeah, so we got at least one out.
Anything else for secretary? Mayor's report.
I apologize for my tardiness.
Slow.
It should not have happened now. Gotta wait to do this evening. Other than Saturday, open the jail, we had about 12 or 15 people up there despite the weather. It's surprising, about half of them were from out of the borough. So they came in, one from West Manheim Historical Society. So that was, good. Sat down and talked with him for a while. I'm planning on doing, hopefully at least 2 more this year. Plus, I think I'm going to put together, since the borough acquired the Lions Club history and photo albums. Somebody from the Lions Club was there, was very happy that we are the caretakers at this point. I told him it's still theirs, they're allowed to have it. But, I just look at us as the caretakers of that history so that they can go to waste. But I'd like to put together something, invite any of the prior Lions Club members that are still around to sit down one evening, because of some of the stuff that I went through while I was sitting up there. I mean, there's stuff from the numerous World Fair trips that they took, especially from late 70s when they sent the Spring Grove Marching Band to the World's Fair in Montreal for the week, which, pictures and photo albums. So that was cool to see, and just kind of be interesting to put together some faces, do the pictures, and on top of that, I think going along, also had a conversation that with members of the fire company one evening. They'd be interested, and maybe the borough would be interested in looking at, the boroughs and the counties are now passing, some tax forgiveness for first responders, and maybe as a tool for recruitment for them. I'm not sure. I know some around have done it already, and what the requirements, I don't know if it would help or not, but I know there's a lot of reporting and a lot of record keeping needed from those people that want to, take advantage of that. But I don't know if it would provide any, help or resources for some recruitment for them. So it'd be something that maybe we can look into, or, get a really lay of the land of what goes into that at the borough level.
Don't you have to be a resident of the borough?
Well, yes,
You can't be in the township.
Well,
No, I mean,
that's step one, find out how many you
I
have.
did mention, but it might interest some borough members, whether that's, because, we know we're very lucky that a majority, well, I would say, 90% probably of the active duty firefighters live outside the borough and come in. I think too, if we can maybe also talk with North Dolores, as, maybe move them in that direction too, it helps their township fire department, plus, the members of the Seven Valleys that live in North Dolores. So it'd be something, I know, if anybody has any experience or some, through other townships, kind of,
He's looking at
if you could pass along maybe some information.
None of my boroughs have gone through with anything because it's the same situation. Nobody lives in the borough.
Exactly.
And
I don't know if
getting-
it would be a tool for recruiting though.
Well, getting something, again, if everybody's living in the township, getting them to do it would be a big advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I said I would bring it up.
I can email everyone a sample
Okay.
ordinances and resolutions.
So,
And in the meantime, just, get a list as to whether or not we do have members who live within the borough, that it would be an incentive for us to do it.
so other than that, I have nothing for the night.
All right, thank you. Anything for the mayor? All right, liens,
No change.
sewer report. Talked about that a little bit. Anything else? Comments on the sewer report?
Again, nothing jumped out at me other than their continued report on the Church Street tank and things like that. Not the tank, the pump station.
I did, I don't know if everyone saw, I sent an email, because there's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, there's like 10 accounts that are over $1,000 in arrears. We're getting close to that. So I wasn't quite sure how the sewer authority handles those and so forth. So I did send an email to Angie, the office manager, and she did respond to me with detail where each of these accounts are and what the process is and so forth. So I don't think I emailed that yet. It just came to me today, but I will forward that on to you. So you can see where that's at. But we do have 91 days or more, we have just shy of $11,000 outstanding.
So there are a number of ways for them to deal with it. They can deal with it through liens, or they can deal with it through getting a water company to do water shutoffs, which I know they do in some of the other municipalities. And I do it in New Salem, it works.
Anything else on the sewer report? All right, Todd, you got anything?
No.
Mike?
No.
Samantha?
Nope.
Ken? Sure.
I wanted to know, I was asking Kayla if she had if she had seen her picture in the Borough News, and she said she had not.
I did.
You did, well, you
I
did.
literally asked her about it. You didn't show up.
Because it was in this last Borough News, and I was quite pleased, because I had just taken the camera with my cell phone, and it came out very well, and maybe they fixed it, I don't know, but, so make sure you look at that, if you
Good.
haven't.
All right. Doug?
No, sir.
Mark? Craig?
I have a question, okay? You know how we had the stop sign up there, okay? Up
Where
at
at?
the underpass, okay?
Where the yield is
Where-
now?
Yeah,
Okay.
now the yield's there, it says the coming traffic.
Mhm.
Now, the other morning, I was going to put my grandkids on the bus, and that was leaving at 5:45. So I made the turn to come under. The guy, I guess maybe he can't read, he comes under trying the same time I am, and then he gives me the finger because he acts like I'm in the wrong. And I'm thinking, so what are they gonna do? We had a stop sign, now we have a yield. Is it just,
Yield
people just
signs,
ignore-
yield signs are easier for police to enforce.
oh, okay, I
Because
just wondered
it is
because,
flat out his fault coming towards you.
oh,
The stop
okay.
sign, you can pull up to a stop sign and then you can
Oh,
go.
okay,
It doesn't-
'cause
it didn't
'cause
say
I'm trying
yield,
to
it just said
figure out
stop.
What happens if I'm going through and he
If
scrapes my
anything
car,
happens, that's
so-
gonna be the person coming through the yield sign.
Oh, okay.
That's why there's
what I
yield
wanted
signs
to
coming
know.
off the highway and
He's
not
giving me
stop
the finger,
signs.
and I thought, gee, can't you, and I'll go up like this, can't you read the sign? And he's giving me
Trying
the
just to stay
finger.
on this side of the road, and,
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm gonna ask the council meeting, what do you do in a case like that? Because,
Give him the finger back.
well, I know, I'd be afraid he'd have the gun and shoot me.
On the
So I
record.
don't wanna do that. So that's all I needed to know. Thanks a lot.
All right.
He's gonna wave and smile.
Oh, happy day.
All right, any other public comment?
I had one question about the
Come on up,
Sewer.
Scott, come on up.
sewer. When we had that big heavy rain, these, month, I guess it was, the sewer light came on the pump. And of course, we weren't able to have the function, the bingo that night because of the excess water that's coming in with that. And you guys said that you were looking into the houses that are pumping into the sewer line. Are we getting any, besides the one Todd had looked at, has anybody else looked at anything else as far as that?
As far as I know, the authority has not done any other testing than what they did 5 years ago, or whatever it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, because I know we lost, money that night because we weren't able to have bingo. And our bingo has been really starting to grow within the last couple months. And so we lost a couple grand, that night because of the sewer.
They had in their minutes in their March meeting that they had 2 issues where they had to go out due to high water.
Right.
And I know they're,
We have an idea now when, we have the high water and you can't flush the toilets, we're done. Yeah. beginning, in an establishment that has customers and stuff like that, you have no operating toilets, so you have to close your business down.
Well, I can make a suggestion. You make announcements at bingo that the reason you didn't have it was because of high
Well,
water.
we did,
and
I
tried-
think Albert did, explain that the following week, the reason why. And of course, the ladies and everybody that, you just interrupted their routine for the week. You interrupted their routine for the week. Wow, we can put porta pots out. Well, I don't want to use a porta pot.
Not in
No,
high
I
water.
I don't know what to tell you.
Not in high water.
Women typically don't do that.
I do know every time a house is sold, the sewer authority does require that they come in and they look at the system now in some valleys. So as much as it's not an immediate fix, as if everyone said, hey, can
Right.
somebody come in and look at this? I want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Slowly over time, there will be hopefully some impact
Yeah.
that's positive.
Well, the thing is, we're sitting at the bottom of the line.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
You get the worst of it.
But again, without voluntary compliance and voluntary change, there's no way that the authority or even the borough would have the authority
Right.
to make uninvited access to a house to inspect it. Can't do it.
I mean, I don't know, maybe the borough possibly, maybe just put, send newsletter out, hey, just.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Just went out in April last month.
And that's when Todd said he had one.
And we invited, and asked people if they weren't sure, at no cost, someone from the borough or the sewer authority will come out and do an inspection for you. Yeah. and-
I do have a little touch up from this last sewer meeting. I've forgotten to, you just brought this up. As of that big raid, the plant manager was out doing some inspections of the manholes in the area. He may or may not have found a leak. He mentioned this last sewer meeting. He's looking into it. They're gonna be cameraing the line, but they have to clear it out. Then there's some rocks in it. He'll be letting us know more on the next sewer meeting. That's all I know about it right now. The whole.
Rocks in the sewer line?
Yeah. So there
Well,
might be
that's a
break.
problem.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
want more details on the sewer, so I didn't know if anybody was watching it, so it's in the video.
All right. Any other public comment?
Gentleman over there, I think, had something.
Did Rodney have something?
Ronnie, you got something for?
What's, he just wants to check.
We can do that afterwards.
Yeah, we-
That's something.
All right.
Okay,
meeting-
I'll
meeting
get with you
adjourned.
after.
Thank you, everybody. Come on up here. Right? Yeah, come on up here.
What happened? Did I give you just the stub? No, it didn't print real well.
Oh,
Just put in what you want, Rodney.
Just fill it out.
I could try to print a new one or.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And I'll take the one back and try to get around the corner to the time. But you were already.
I will.
You were going across Market Street.
when he is on a mission,